you'll know. Terrific. Thank you everybody for coming. Really appreciate having you here. I'd just like to begin this meeting by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land on which we are meeting. I pay my respects to the elders, past and present, and the Aboriginal elders of other communities who may be here today. I'm super excited today. I'm introducing Adil Bucks, the founder of Nuut, which is the Australian-made 100% plant-based powdered nourishment, and it's the ultimate meal on the go. In just 2 years, Nuut has sold over 500,000 meals, earned more than 7,000 reviews with an average of 4.8 out of 5 stars, and was the #1 product for 5 weeks running on the UK's ITV. Welcome, Adil. Thanks so much for jumping online with us today.
Thank you very much.
So I'm just going to let everybody know, if you've got any questions at all, please feel free to pop them in the Q&A box and we'll be running through them today. So it's just down the bottom of your Zoom screen. So Adil, I'd love it if you could give us a little bit of an introduction about Nuut, how you've come to be where you are today and what you're looking to achieve with a raise.
Sure, absolutely. Just checking that my screen is coming up. Okay, everyone's there? Okay, wonderful. Yeah, great. I have always been interested in supplementation, supplements, nutrition for a solid 25 years. And most recently, after I left my last company, which I can talk about in a few minutes, I kind of look for, I always try and look for what I think is going to be like the next interesting thing, the next problem that needs to be solved. And for me, I was traveling a lot and like just always had a very challenging kind of nutritional situation, because when you travel a lot, especially on airplanes and things, you're often I won't say malnourished, but you just get the wrong type of food. So I started concocting my own little formulas, mixtures of protein and sometimes greens and sometimes other bits and pieces, and really came up with this as a complete nutrition concept or a complete nutrition solution that was just easy to take on the go. So once I'd been doing that for a while, I looked, I guess, at the protein market globally and thought, well, this is something that isn't really being catered for properly in protein circles. We've got a lot of really good protein powders, and my previous company had a fantastic protein powder. But we don't have something that has all the vitamins and minerals and all the other requirements that turn a simple protein shake into an actual meal that is, that can be verified by the Australian food standards or the European food standards, the American food standards, etc. So I looked at those. I looked at those products that were on the market, then looked at what I wanted to design, and really thought about the way I was eating at the time, and I guess a lot of the way a lot of my friends were eating at the time, which was jumping into all of these new nutritional trends, so like keto, paleo, and fasting. I coupled all that with the notion of plant-based. So everything that I do and want to do is always going to be plant-based. So came up with Nuut, which was like a really simple 3 different versions of something you can have anytime, anywhere, and it's going to taste good and fill you up and kind of nourish you as well.
Yeah,
so that was kind of genesis of the product.
That's awesome. So how did you come from conception to actually, creating this product and bringing it to the position that it's at today?
Sure. So I guess I'll just quickly bump into my history. So early in the 2000s, I got into the consumer products or consumer packaged goods, they call it, industry, and started a company called Invisible Zinc. This was like a natural sunscreen brand from around 2003. just learned how to do all that stuff then. And I've always been very entrepreneurial and have a bit of science in my background as well. So I just quickly learned how to put things together, how to manufacture a product. And then with our team at Invisible Zinc, we ended up being able to market the products really well as well. That product ended up going into almost every grocery store in the country, like supermarket, and every department store, meaning Myers and David Jones, and almost every chemist. So it was a really interesting introduction into that world. I then came up with an idea for, I guess, a supplement brand, which eventually morphed into a company called Wellco, which was, or still is, exists. So does Invisible Zinc, still very popular, both those brands.
I have Invisible Zinc in my cupboard at the moment, actually. So
wonderful.
Definitely is a popular brand.
My shiny skin will tell you I'm wearing it this morning as well. So I still always use the products that I have hand in developing. So yeah, it's a similar thing with Wellco. Obviously, the team there was much bigger and involved Macpherson as a founder and Andrea, and once again had a lot of manufacturing experience. Had a good eye on the marketing, had a good eye on all aspects of the brand. So that was another one that was product development took some time, but the launch was quite quick. We were able to turn things around quickly. So, and I guess that's my that's one of my skill sets. I can turn things around quickly, do a very high quality product in an expedient time, I guess. So yeah, that's how we got to there. And the same with Nuut. We did about a year of R&D on formulations, etc. Have got some very trusted formulators, including Dr. Michael Houck, who's our science officer. And yeah, we came up with what we thought were amazingly good. Well, the taste was amazingly good, and we ended up having products which are also incredibly good. So very happy with it.
Yeah, amazing. I personally really love the packaging. That might be one of my favorite elements about the product, but it's beautifully manufactured. So where do you manufacture the products, and are there any supply chain constraints?
Yeah, so we actually manufacture in Australia. We've always had a little bit of well, I guess I've always had a little bit of a preference to manufacture things as much as possible as here. I'm obviously Australian and like to support local manufacturing. So yeah, the product is blended up in on the East Coast, not on the West Coast where we're based. We actually even make most of our packaging here too. So like the sachets are all made on the East Coast. The boxes those boxes are made on the East. These ones are made like just up the road from us here. So most of our product is very, very Australian. The thing is, once we get real traction, then it won't be easy to manufacture so much stuff from here. So we'll outsource we'll offshore a bit of the manufacturing to trusted manufacturers in probably the US, the UK, and Europe. Again, I've got great relationships with a lot of manufacturers over there, and I will just make sure that our quality is, 100% the same as it is here.
Yeah, absolutely. So as you mentioned, you're looking to expand and obviously go large. Is that the reason why you're looking to do a raise at the moment?
Yeah, absolutely. So once again, I've just having experience in launching brands globally, in taking brands into other markets and doing it at a very good price and not spending too much money, but getting an effective result. I've been looking at the US because that's obviously the market that's going to be, the real game changer for us. I mean, just looking at some figures for the American market, it's just huge. It's in the billions of dollars for protein powders, and it's growing at 5, 6, 7% every year. So it's such a huge market. Globally, the market this year is expected to be like $20 billion US, and then by 2028 be 36 billion US dollars. So there's some solid growth.
Absolutely.
And we offer what we think is a taste advantage, the Australian advantage, but also we have an advantage in that we're a different type of product. We're a little bit higher end. We have the vitamins and minerals. We qualify as a meal, et cetera, et cetera. So, I think we have a lot of great USPs, and that's perfect for the US. But I'll just switch back to the UK for a second. So we launched the product in the UK just a couple of years ago, and a similar thing happened there, or what we expected would happen. That was we had massive traction just pre-COVID. We were doing really, really significant numbers, and then of course COVID happened, and unfortunately there was no lack of demand. It was more a lot of supply chain issues hit us at that time, because if you guys will remember, it became very challenging for consumer goods in terms of getting all the ingredients and the shipping, because we made everything locally, as in Australia, but we're shipping to the UK. There were just all sorts of confusion in the early days around how things would move around. We've got that mostly solved now. A lot of the supply lines are coming back online, and so that's primarily why we think now is a good time to get the money, invest in those markets. So we've already got a great captive market, several thousand customers in the UK. We're very happy to kind of work with them to expand that market into something much bigger. And in the US, we've done a lot of preliminary work, primarily just prior to COVID and in the year before. We've attended some trade fairs, got amazingly good reactions, etc. And that's where we feel the future. Of course, with Australia, there's still a lot of potential for us here. We've only really just scratched the surface.
Yeah, of course. And what are some of the key things that you've learned about your customers, and how have they influenced your product decisions today?
Well, I guess it's affirmed some of our assumptions at the beginning, and that is people just love convenience, they love good taste, and they love kind of whole food derived nutrition. If you think back to 10, 15 years ago, when the smoothie revolution really began, because of the advent of things like NutriBullets, etc., people started supplementing breakfast or lunch or mid-morning or whatever usually with a protein shake, right? So, the fact is that we've tried to take Nuut and make it like the next logical extension of that, and look to create something that's less fussy than a protein shake, but has more, I guess, good nutrients than a protein shake. And also make it very suitable to, if you're doing a paleo diet, you don't want too high a carbohydrate. If you're doing keto, you certainly don't want the carbohydrate. So we're probably one of the few products in our category that is actually very, very low carb, which is a big thing for, I guess, consumers these days.
Sure. And do you have any IP protections in place for your recipes and formulations?
Yeah, so all our recipes are kind of bespoke and are owned by us, and we've got trademark applications in for a bunch of the other bits and pieces in terms of the name, etc., etc. So we definitely understand where the value kind of ultimately lies.
Yeah, and are you planning on expanding the product range as well?
Absolutely. So we've got obviously the three main products, and we've got them available in two different types of things. So without doing a product commercial, we've got a loose powder kind of tub, and then we've got boxes of sachets. We feel we've captured most of what we need to capture with Daily Balance, Paleo, and Keto. But currently they're all chocolate flavored. We're going to go vanilla. We're then going to start looking at all sorts of other interesting line extensions. And, we feel that there's a lot of opportunity in that area, because a lot of people have different nutritional challenges these days. And I don't want to get into too much, because obviously there's a lot of stuff that I'm working on that I don't want to make public just yet. But, we want to work also in the practitioner area as well. So we want to have really effective, efficacious products that are very specifically tailored for certain medical practitioners. for their things. So we're looking at doing a professional line. We'll be working on that next year, and I'm working very closely with Dr. Michael on that. And so we've got those, and we've got a lot of other ideas for products as well. But once again, I'll probably announce those closer to the launch of those. But basically, if you think about this brand, it's really about being the premium kind of powdered nutrition company in the world. Being the best of the best, solving these problems most effectively and conveniently. We don't want to get into any kind of fresh food. We want to keep our supply chain simple. And it's what I've learned over almost 20 years now in consumer products manufacturing, marketing, etc. I just want to keep the company nice and simple, have a really good effective range of products, but then really rock it once we've got all the products. I mean, the obvious line extensions for a company like ours are bars, which are just like protein bars basically, but we do a meal bar in 3 different versions. That's an obvious one, and all companies like ours that have got enough vision will always do that. And we think, again, we're working on some things, working on some prototypes of that, especially for the US market. The bar market over there is huge. And then also ready to drinks. So we've already released a ready to drink here in Perth. We did a collaboration with a local juice and nut milk company called Refresh, and those products are selling really well. So that kind of serves as a prototype for when we eventually do ready to drink products around Australia. But again, the United States, that market is massive over there. Yeah. And it is, in addition to the figures that I was quoting, were just for protein supplements, powders. I mean, that's a whole nother market. So we've got 3 or 4 great areas to expand into, and there's a hell of a lot of headroom for this product, for this brand.
Yeah, absolutely. I know you mentioned that at the moment you've only got chocolate flavour and you're branching out into other flavours. We're thinking of doing an unflavoured version?
Not at this stage, but that may form the basis of the Practitioner Range. Again, the Practitioner Range will be more about just super effective product that you can then tailor slightly to whatever your condition might be.
Sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's on the cards. It's easy to do, but and I have had a few requests for it, but currently not. It isn't something that will be around in the next 6 months. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, fair enough. So in terms of your investment strategy, will it be geared towards marketing? And if so, do you have a particular marketing strategy you'll be looking at?
Yeah, for sure. We've been getting amazing results with our paid digital. So I think since we brought a new agency on board, we've been averaging between 5 and 6 times return on ad spend, ROAS. So it's been really solid. So I've just been creating my own little, I guess, algorithm for how I can feed my funnel to end up, being able to multiply marketing money and maintain that 5 to 6 ROAS. So yeah, I've got quite a lot of. I have developed something fairly robust. I feel it's robust, but it'll just involve a lot more what they call top of funnel activities. So a lot more work with either traditional media as opposed to simply paid social media, which is what everyone uses these days. Working again with more influencers and a broader range of influencers. Obviously, that's a really good funnel feeding kind of activity as well. But also, there's a lot of other business to business stuff that I want to get involved with as well. So, using like affiliates, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, again, these aren't anything new, but the way I've kind of set it all up is just trying to work out really solid ways to feed the marketing funnel and then get it right back down to the, everything down to paid digital. So we can effectively, we can get at least 5 to 6 times on money back on marketing spend and watch that scale.
Yeah, absolutely. And in terms of the shelf life of the product, what's that looking like at the moment?
Sorry, what was that question?
The shelf life.
Oh, the shelf life. Yeah, it's 18 months minimum. Again, yeah, but most of what we sell, most of what we make gets sold pretty quickly. So we're kind of almost operating a just-in-time kind of manufacturing, where we make something, it sells. We've already got the next lot under production that gets delivered, start selling. So this is another reason for the capital raise, where we want to actually have larger stocks of those, so we can push things a little bit harder. And that just requires more investment in stock, but also getting stock to the US. Even though we are looking eventually to offshore some of that manufacturing to the US, initially I wanted to have the Australian product, again, which is what I've done with previous companies, following a very, very similar path to what I've done in the past. The idea is to make sufficiently large quantities of product that we can actually ship them over by sea, and with a view to, once we've got some established sales patterns, we can start manufacturing over there as well. And obviously, once I can start traveling again, we can make sure that we've got quality control over the factories who I already know. So,
yeah, true. Yeah. And in terms of your product, I know that you spoke about trademarking before. What makes it unique, and what makes it almost difficult to copy if there are a combination of readily accessible ingredients in your products?
Yeah, sure. Well, a lot of what I've learned in this industry is that it isn't always just about the ingredients. Obviously, it's about the proportions, and that's your recipe, but it's also about your suppliers. So again, having been in this kind of game for almost 9 years, I've worked out who the best ingredient suppliers are, and that's through working with our factories and our formulators. So we'll always have an amazingly effective and tasty product because of those ingredient suppliers. So and that's just it's a type of IP that comes with experience, I guess, and just knowing who to trust, who not to trust, etc., etc. So I guess that's one of the advantages of having this, having significant time in this industry, allows me to kind of make those decisions and make those calls, and that just, I think, gives us a big advantage.
Yeah, absolutely. And is there a reason why you won't be using more Australian manufacturers as opposed to expanding out and using manufacturers in the UK or the US?
Yeah, so we'll always use Australian manufacturers, and that'll be our main manufacturers. Mm-hmm. But I think it de-risks it slightly. If you make product in the United States, then it's already there. If you make product here, then you've got to put it into a ship, and then there's shipping issues at the moment globally. Even then, there's potential other bottlenecks. I'm just thinking it's a lot less risky to make the product on the land mass that it's going to be distributed in, rather than having to ship stuff around. So again, that's still a solid 9 months away, but and we'll always make certain products here, just because there's particular IP that I've got with some of these products that I don't want to release to international manufacturers. But it works a lot better in terms of from a timing point of view. That is, you're not having working capital tied up while your product is on a ship for 3 months. But there's also the risk of port action, port delays, other things which might be affected by this kind of challenged world, these conditions that we're in at the moment.
Sure, of course. I guess you really got to think in terms of risk management at the moment, especially when last year we were so badly affected by COVID. We've got to think about those things. So in terms of your selling, do you have a few supply chains at the moment? Are you selling directly only from your website, or are you also going to be on shelves in venues?
Yeah.
What's that looking like?
Yeah, so our primary kind of sales position, our sales come through our website. So that's in Australia and in the UK. We'll be going live with the US website quite soon. That's our primary. We got approached by Amazon almost a year and a half ago, from Amazon, the company, not a third-party reseller, but we got approached by the category manager for protein powders, etc., who was very keen to have us in the mix because obviously I think they liked they saw it in the UK and they liked the look and feel of the product. They liked the fact that it was complete, etc., etc. They had amazing success with some of the newer brands like Huel, which is an English brand that did incredible business in its first year on Amazon. So we've been in constant contact. We're already registered. We just need to get our products over there to them. We also have a bunch of interesting category leading retailers as well over there that we want to work with. But if you look at the UK, for example, we were lined up to go in one of the world's biggest, most prestigious online shopping, kind of fashion-oriented shopping destinations prior to COVID, but obviously COVID happened and we didn't end up following through with that because supply line issues from their side, not really ours. So we've still got all those kind of irons in the fire that we're going to access, but we're in Planet Organic in the UK, which is a series of upmarket kind of organic supermarkets, primarily London and Greater London based. But we've had interest from quite a few others over there. In Australia, once again, we're available in certain select outlets over here, but we're working with Nourish Life, who are big web retailer, obviously a subsidiary of BWX, etc. They'll hopefully have the product soon. Also, we're doing a lot of affiliation. So, like there's a Bupa, the big health insurance company. They've got a new app product coming out called Benefit Pocket, and we're doing collaboration with them, and that'll be available to all of the Benefit Pocket customers. And obviously, Bupa itself has millions of customers. So we're doing a lot of these strategic kind of partnerships that work off the quality of the product and kind of amplify it because of our association. And obviously, once people try the product, use the product, they realise it's extremely tasty and extremely effective. So yeah, so we are doing a lot more work, and then we'll probably go down some more traditional retail routes as well in Australia, but more bricks and mortar as well. But we'll have to watch this space because we're working on a couple now and should be able to announce in the next few months.
Awesome. I'm with Bupa, so I will be looking out for that on the app.
Oh, fantastic.
So once you do complete your raise and you start working with your actual plans, how do you intend on communicating with your shareholders, and will you be running meetings where they might be able to have some input into some marketing initiatives or product development?
Sure. Well, I'm always available as someone who can, happy to take emails and calls from people occasionally, not 24 hours a day, but to talk through plans and things. But one of the things that we're doing with our I guess with the Birchal raise is we've got a level which is an investment of $10,000 more, and gives those investors access to like an exclusive product development circle. So we will kind of keep that because I think there's been some really interesting investors who've expressed interest, and some of them have industry experience. Some of them are in sports, etc., and I think those people are going to be great to bring into our little circle of product development. So, yeah, definitely. And then in general, we'll just be communicating as normal, as most of the other brands and companies do on this platform, and that's by regular reports, etc., shareholder reports and whatever.
Awesome. Speaking of rewards, do you have an idea of the rewards you'll be offering for your campaign at the moment?
Yeah, so we've got 5 levels. Yeah, I think Rebecca's going to share that screen.
Awesome. So,
Yeah, so if you have a look at this screen, you'll see we've got 5 levels starting at 500. So if you invest 500 or more, you get a 6 sachet pack. So it's assorted pack, assorted sachets with one of our wonderful Nuut thermos bottles. At the next level, which is 1,000, you get that plus like a 5% discount.
great.
The next level up, you get a different type of drink bottle and 7.5% off. And then above 5,000, you get 10% off. And then above 10,000, 12.5%. So these are pretty solid discounts. And, we believe we want to, we really want to reward the people that have faith in us in this early stage.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously from your track record, Ardil, you know what you're doing. So I think they're in good hands.
Well, hopefully.
I've just had a question. Is Al Macpherson a shareholder in this business?
No. I think she's she's doing extremely well with Wellco, and no, that just didn't come up at all. I think she's very happy where she is, and she's doing an amazing job over there. And that company is just really solid, offering a really interesting solution for a certain type of person, and has become it's a very well-known name in the US, the UK, parts of Europe and Australia. Which is obviously what we're trying to do with this brand, is to make it at least as big, hopefully bigger than that brand or other similar brands in the international markets.
Great. So what does the next 12 months look like for Nuut, and beyond that, even the next 5 years?
Well, I think in the next 12 months are going to see us very solidly launch our United States campaign. There'll be a few product launches. So we'll hopefully accelerate income by doing a few more kind of bricks and mortar retail deals, increasing our marketing. The next 5 years is where we're really looking for significant growth, and the idea for me, the idea with using Birchal as a funding platform is obviously something I've never done before. Whereas worked with kind of private investors, is to get a lot more advocates out there for the product. Hopefully everyone that invests really loves the brand. But also I want to make sure that they get a return, like a good return on their money. So I've always got that in the back of my mind, because I understand it's great to have the brand and grow the brand, but it's also great for people to realize, like a good investment if they've had faith early. So I always keep that in mind. So the idea within 5 years is to grow the sales significantly, so the perceived valuation also grows a lot. So we feel we haven't announced our offer just yet. We will soon, but we feel we've got a very competitive valuation compared to a lot of the other brands that come through Birchal, and that's not criticizing them. It's just, I've done this quite a few times, and I know what the shareholders are looking for. And coming in with a really high valuation now means that the upside for shareholders is quite limited. Whereas if we're coming in competitively at a good price, I'm not trying to be too greedy. I don't want us as a company to be too greedy. We want to make sure that if we do well, that everyone does well.
Right.
It's not just a feel-good investment. I mean, hopefully I can turn investments into something significant for shareholders, which is, a huge part of this whole enterprise.
Yeah, at the end of the day, that's music to investors' ears, I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Now, I know I've asked you a lot of questions. I'll just put a little hand out for anybody's final questions before we round out today. I know you guys have been here for a long time, but it's been very interesting. So I'm really pleased that all of you could come along today and learn a little bit more about Nuut, and obviously, if you've got any questions after this, you can get in touch with Adil, ask him any questions, and yeah, that's probably the best way to do it. If we've got no more, I reckon. Oh, here we go. There's one on the side here. All right, that's all. Brilliant, everybody. Thank you so much for coming today. We really appreciate having you here. And as I mentioned, if you've got any more questions, please get in touch with Adil. And we look forward to seeing you at one of our other upcoming webinars.
Wonderful.
Thanks, Adil. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Emily.
Thank you.